So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nobel, and today I'm speaking with Honeybee on Crystalline Diamond Light Body for Gaia's Ascension. So, Honeybee is internationally recognized as a TransMediumTransChannler, light language speaker, teacher, activator, and transmitter of living codes through her voice. A Galactic Shaman, Ascension Alchemist who delivers her high calling of the Golden Age through activating the planetary grid via crystalline diamond codes, Magdalene Yeshua codes through the Rose Dragon line for the Unity Christ consciousness and the rise of the sacred divine feminine frequency. She is also a higher dimensional crystalline art creator, and she empowers individuals to return to their original blueprint. And there's a Facebook page and a meetup page I'm going to put with this podcast. So hi, Honeybee.
Hello, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Now you can't. You'll see from the picture of her on the video, but you know she's wearing unicorn trousers and it's got this gorgeous.
I wore my special golden unicorn, Christed unicorn pants for you, and my golden. Did you see my golden shimmering top? It's all about this golden frequency.
It's
light.
Golden. Yeah. Wow, she looks beautiful. So now Honeybee's had an interesting life, and so you first woke up, I think there was a fatal car crash at the age of 7 where you began connecting, obviously you survived, began connecting with the higher consciousness councils and beings of light. Can you say something about this beginning?
Sure. So that let's see, 1979 is when this fatal car crash happened, when I was in Iran with my parents, and in this place we were on our way to actually see the Persepolis, the ancient ruins. I was fascinated with ancient ruins as a child. I would always draw them. I was always drawing portals and what have you. So before arriving there, we had this fatal car crash, and my parents, both of my parents, I experienced them as they were already dead, because my father had gone into the window. He was stuck there, and the wheel in the car, my mother had broken into her face. So it was awful. Blood everywhere. Everything was smashed, and the car was catching on fire at the front of it. And I was trapped in there. And within a split of a second, while the other car, they were completely smushed. It was a very hard head-on collision, about 60 some miles per hour head-on. And I saw everything, and I was trapped in the back seat, kind of in between that space between the seat and the car. And within that place, suddenly, like nothing, I couldn't move, I couldn't get out, and nothing was movable. And I was very little as a 7, and suddenly something happened to me, which we call like a miraculous experience. I transcended out of this physical temple that I was in this Carmen, and I became something ginormous. And I moved out of the car, and I moved out about like 20 feet or so. I was something so ginormous that everything was weightless, everything was beautiful, everything was amazing. All I experienced was joy and ecstasy within that few moments. And then I was also best I can say, like, as if I transformed into being a hawk, if you want to call it that. And then from that presence, I was brought back into that little body with that presence. So everything became weightless. I was able to do what a humanly would not have been possible from a 7-year-old to do, to like just the way I was able to open the car that was smushed, nothing was movable, and just lift my father with that one hand and drag him, just not even drag him, get him out, and sit there, put my hand on him for the healing. And I understood he was dead at that time, so I don't know what quite happened, but so from that moment, I just sat on the desert floor watching while I started hearing the screams coming from other cars stopping and people running to see what happened. So both of my parents went into coma for a few days. I was just by myself, and I felt so loved, so protected. And from there, everything opened up where I could see higher dimensional beings go in and out of the walls and see full-blown angels and masters and particularly galactic beings. There was one particular galactic blue being, tall being, that was with me ever since after that. And it made my parents' life very uncomfortable, and the school and friends, and because I was having a lot of experiences and communicating, seeing, sensing, and it was odd that others could not experience what I was experiencing. Particularly, for example, I would set the table for me and him. And my parents went along because they call it imaginary friend. And I was like, it's not imagined. How do you not see him? I just couldn't understand why people couldn't see him. And we did a lot together. But I could see the flowers, the songs of the flowers. I could see them and I could hear them. And I could also see the rays of light coming from the flowers in the musical tones. And I just couldn't understand why people couldn't experience, or they would tell me something was wrong with me because they weren't seeing it or sensing it or experiencing. And I had a lot of UFO experiences as a child.
Wow.
After this, a lot happened. A lot of plasma ships and different ships, and I would actually pointing that to my parents, Mom, Dad, look, they still couldn't see, they just couldn't experience, and a lot of outer body experiences from this point forward happened, and I could literally do things a lot with my mind as a child, which was very freaky, and move objects and turn things off and on quite a bit, and I felt they were cool, but
people
it was very
think
scary.
they were cool. Yeah.
No, and I was kicked out of school second grade because, and this is again back in Iran, and my grandmother would always say, dude, my grandmother's family, they were very into folk medicine and what have you, but she would always tell me, you're not one of us, you're not one of us. I was always made to feel very alienated and unusual and just not right, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Well, I guess you've had a lot of experiences growing up with these gifts, but fast forward, because I've interviewed Michael, your partner, and the two of you are a force of light, I feel. When you're together, you have this kind of beautiful energy, and you're can you say something about your work now? And I know you're a TransMediumTransChannler and light language speaker. Can you say, you seem to have many strings to your bow. Can you say, what are you doing in the world?
Well, I would say what I'm doing, I am a messenger of light and love, Steve. That would be the first. I am a messenger who has come from the other side. I did die January 8, 2012, full-blown death, and I did experience life after death in spirit realm, and that's when I met my Arcturian galactic family of light, and also Archangel Haniel, as well as beloved Master Yeshua the Christ, where a lot was revealed to me and shared in my revelation of, as a soul, why I chose to incarnate in this time as a last human incarnation to deliver the divine plan for the golden age as a messenger of light and love. And it has its multiple various way of its expression, the way this vibration of the light of love is extended through my garment, through my presence. And one is as a TransMediumTransChannler that is fully incorporated. I am capable of stepping fully aside and allowing my vessel to be utilized for multiple dimensional consciousness. So it's usually between 5th dimension to 12th dimension, different consciousness, whether it's a full one presence or multiple presences, and that and there's a high field placed around that who is allowed to communicate through my vessel, because the guardians around it are heavily protected. So whether it's a council that comes in, let's say it was the Andromedan Council or the Great Order of Melchizedek, or the multiple different presences, or for example Master Saint Germain. So I completely go aside. I have no memory of what's happening in my vessel, because my whole body and literally shape shifts, and my fingers, everything gets into the let's say position of the being that is speaking through me for a certain period of time, and message come through. So that's one vessel, or one way. The other way is that because I'm somebody that lives between worlds, and I'm able to navigate between many worlds very easily, these experiences that I've had have given that opportunity to be able to easily navigate. The other one is as an activator and a transmitter through the languages of light, through the living codes of light. I am able to interact with their geometric patterns, their encoded vibration frequency. I can see them, hear them, and their sound, and literally bring them through in their trans-dimensional vibration, and then allow it to be either transformed, transfigured, transmuted, and what have you, or anchored. So that's another way. And with the crystalline diamond light body, that's very specific. That is something that was shown to me 5 years ago, December, where beloved Yeshua, Magdalene, and Mother Mary had asked me to go into stillness for 21 days so that I can become a diamond light body. They wanted my diamond light body to become activated, and it was the start with my heart becoming the diamond heart, and my physical template and my body is transforming into a diamond light body. So that 21 days I was going through this initiation. It was very, very interesting. For 13 to 15 hours a day, I had to just lay down and do nothing, and not cut off from every contact for this to grow. So there was no interference. And then it took a year to tune into it and grow the diamond from inside out, so that as a planetary grid worker, I no longer sort of bury crystals or anything. My template is crystalline, where as a transformer, where I go, I'm able to, through these living codes of light, through the sound vibration that moves through me, is able to create the transformation. So, and from there, then it took about several years to hone in the codes of light, the streaming codes of light, and the language of light, how to bring it through all the different frequencies to then facilitate it as a session to help others become activated in this frequency, because it's very required, this diamond template, for the ascension, for the personal and planetary ascension that has to do with the golden age, especially from 2020. And 2020 represents the divine alignment, the divine gateway, and to go through it, you got to be in the proper template. And this is one of the templates, because the next one is the plasma body, then the following one is the solar body. So I went through this 5 years ago, and now I'm in the middle of becoming the plasma. I don't have the language for it yet, because I'm experiencing it just like I went through this 5 years ago. So we need enough individuals, as I was told, to be the carriers of the crystalline diamond light body, because they're able to then, with their template, be in a unified field of the unity Christ consciousness, in the fifth dimensional consciousness of Gaia's grid. And they're able to be in a full streamline from these living vibrational codes of light. That's a long answer to a question.
That was a beautiful one.
Thank you.
Well, I know that you work with light language, and we mentioned just before talking how a lot of people use it in a kind of very open way, but actually you feel it's a tool that needs to be quite focused. It has the power to shift timelines. And I know also that you speak a number of languages. Can you say something about light language? And then will you give us a experience?
Of course. Thank you for that. So one of the most interesting thing is on the planet right now, there is the cellular memory of speaking in light because we are light beings. There's that consciousness that has awoken in the collective energy that's coming forth. Yet it lacks discipline. Just like anything else, it lacks the honing of its power, because it is a present. It's a very powerful present, and how to navigate properly and utilize it as a powerful tool, and also not misuse its energy. So about 3 years ago, I started a Starseed class just to help people that were starting, because they would come to my event, they start blurting. I mean, just so undisciplined, and they were like walking disasters, honestly, Steve, because it's like a television that has, not this plastic thing, and it's trying to plug it to the cable. It's like explosion. It's totally ungrounded, and you can cause a lot of harm. And that's one of the things I really go over: what light language as a soul language, as an ancient language is, and what you definitely do not do with, you handle it with so much love and grace. But a lot of people just come out, start blurting, saying they have no clue actually if the language is pure light vibration. Number one, they don't know how to utilize it for purpose, because it's not it's actually, they don't even know if it's an activation or a transmission or what it's coming. So there's a lot of things, and that's what I help bring: education and awareness. Let's handle. These are our highest, most remarkable gifts, and they're our higher. It's not just in the earth garment. We have the sight, hearing, taste, what have you. Those are our gifts in the physical garment. And as we connect to our light body, these are our other gifts, and we have to handle them with a lot of care and reverence and discipline. And that's what I feel is missing. So having said that, education is the key, and not every sound is of light if you're speaking light language. So there's a lot of other sound, and it's a very heart vibration. You cannot translate what's not translatable. So sometimes when I speak, I have a general awareness of the body, of that transmission in its coded presence, but it's not like how we can translate one to one. It's not like that. And within its sound, like for example, when I do the personal activations, the private sessions, I like in this space right now, Steve, like I couldn't get to, for example, your personal sound code. I can access that, but I gotta raise my octave of light a few octaves, and within the private session I do that, where I'm all the way at source light, and the person, say for example it was you're all the way there too, and then for a split of a second I can hear what your sound is, and your sound is the sound of that first urgent where your heart created its sound when you were still coming into the earthly garment. And I can access that, how it sounds, how its movement, and share it with the person. But again, we have to raise our awareness quite a bit, raise our octave quite a bit to be able to work with some of these, because in here, if you just start blurting it out, we don't harmonize it properly, because they're all utilized to be harmonized and work with the breath of Gaia's crystalline diamond heart. So that's a little bit on that. As an activation, when I do an activation, the person gets activated in being in their DNA, being able to have their keys and codes open up in their communication. I don't create that in them. It's already within them. This is very important, we as multidimensional beings. When there is a transmission, then that's brought in so that it is anchored. So those are different sort of slight distinction how this is utilized.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Honeybee, for the space, whatever you want to bring through, and we'll just open.
Okay, thank you. So I have my sound bowl here. I'll start with a little bit of the sound bowl just to create the sound vibration. And for those who are listening, I like to just have us move into a space of light first, and then just allow it. And maybe what I will do just to hear, I will bring a few different, very brief light languages, so that, let's say, whether it's Arcturian or Syrian or Pleiadian, what have you, and just be present in feeling, sensing, experiencing, observing what is happening in your physical, emotional, mental, etheric, spiritual body. Just be present, and that's all I ask. So having said that, Steve, you too. So I'm going to invite all of us to please place our hands, well, not mine, but yours, on your heart. Please place both hands there and begin to close your physical eyes and tune into that sacred breath on the inside. And draw the energy all the way to the center of your heart. And breathe in that sacred place. And breathe out through your mouth. Releasing the breath fully, taking another deep breath in. And breathing out. And one more deep, gentle breath in. And coming into that center, in the center of your chest, and breathing all the way out. Tuning inward to the sound of that inner drum beat. And opening the eyes of the lens of your heart to see that beautiful light inside, that shimmering, beautiful, pure white flame of light. That is the extension of source light from the origin of your creation, and this beautiful journey that you have taken to come into the human incarnation. And as you breathe in this place, seeing or sensing or feeling this beautiful light, pure white flame of light inside your chest, breathing it all the way in, and acknowledging the sacred being that you are, fully illuminated in light already. And the signature has been left behind, so you can always find your way back home to source light. And as you breathe in its purity here, I ask you to please ask this flame of light to engulf you completely as a ball of light, fully surrounding you as you breathe into it, and it completely encloses your entire body with each conscious, sacred breath of love you take, feeding yourself from inside out. And this beautiful flame of light with its pulsing drumbeat is the same light that is inside Gaia's heartbeat, that is also in the universal center and its heartbeat. You as a unified field of light, beating in, so fully connected to Gaia's heartbeat and the universal heartbeat in this ball of dazzling light. I ask you to now just begin relaxing in the breath of love, and you being inside this ball of light like a sun, illumination of light. Breathe in this place as we welcome a few languages of light to assist in clearing some timelines from the past, the present, or the future, or parallel lives. Also from chips, programming, belief systems, conditionings. So I ask you to just breathe in trust. You're fully supported by the highest light. And as I also ask for the golden sacred pyramid to be placed above us all that are listening. So only the highest vibration of the crystalline diamond light is allowed to interact. Anything less than divine crystalline perfection may not interact with this frequency. We thank the masters, we thank the angels, we thank the hierarchy of light. We ask the star brothers and sisters of light, the Galactic Federation of Light, and the intergalactic councils of light, and also the ancient white dragons to fully support this light language and its presence upon us. Breathe in. Sinanu Shunati Simikina tu Suranana Mayakini Sinakuna tu Sunanana Kayamiatina no Suru Sinanaraki Anana Sunukunu Timasia Kanana Siyiti Kini Sinamukuru no Trusuku Ninanaka Satini Sumakia Tananasi. Take a deep in breath in and breathe through your mouth for the clearing. Tikashita Kasalamikina to Shunikineta Siki, Lukusuta, Yamashi, Nene, Kyotonia, Dasiki, Nunachini, Nimukuai, Atemisiki, like I said, the Miko, no Totoginayashi, and Ayaya, Tunumoko, Nene, Katasimiki. Shunamita me at me at me at me, Asati, Miki, Nano, Totakinanakia, Shumsitaki. Take a deep in breath in and release. Recantinuartaikinai Tiniakuniartai Luaki Ricaniuatiakatinuarata Narakiatuet Kiatumayati. Breathe that clearing in. Breathe it all the way out. Tunamaya kuataya Tunamaya Take a deep in breath in and release. And we bring in one more. Breathe that out, and I just feel to also just bring in one of the celestial rounds. Just keep breathing in. المعلم تلدنياني ونيالم تناكانامي نوتنياتانامي Unatia Michael Unia Kunata Mae Natania Mae Natia Mwak Breathe that in and release. Take another deep breath in and empty it all the way out. And one more time. We thank the Antarians, the Andromedans, the Lyrans, the Pleiadians, as well as the Arcturians and the angelic celestial realm for their transmission, for their light clearing. We recognize this clearing of this timeline has been completed. It is done. It is so according to the Divine's holy name. And so it is. And we ask all of you to please say, it is done, it is so, and so it